Creating your campaign message is one of the most exciting parts of running for office. This is where all the research you've done, polling, focus groups, and one-on-one conversations with community members comes together to form a message that resonates with voters and connects you to their concerns. Your message is the bridge between your experience and the issues that matter most to the people you hope to represent. At its core, your campaign message should do three things. Show voters that you understand and care about their issues. Explain why those issues matter to you personally. Illustrate how you can effectively address them. You want to resist the temptation to convince voters to care about your issues. If you try to steer them towards your personal priorities rather than focusing on theirs, you risk coming across as out of touch. Instead, approach your campaign from a voter-centered perspective. Understand what motivates your community and build your message around their needs and concerns. For example, in 2008, Obama's Yes We Can message wasn't just a slogan, it was a rallying cry rooted in his personal narrative and the issues of the time. The economic crisis, healthcare reform, and a general sense of disillusionment made people crave his optimism and unity. His story of overcoming adversity and his experience as a community organizer reinforced this message of hope and change. In 2016, Make America Great Again tapped into a sense of nostalgia, national pride, and frustration with the political establishment. Trump's message wasn't about detailed policy proposals. It was a promise to fight for the forgotten Americans who felt left behind. His unapologetic style resonated with people who felt ignored by elites and disconnected from mainstream politics. In 2022, as governor of California, Ron DeSantis leaned heavily into issues like parental rights, resisting woke policies, and protecting children from the radical gender ideology in Florida schools. By taking on high-profile fights over education, such as opposing discussions of gender identity in schools, he solidified his support among conservative parents and felt their values were under attack. His message wasn't just about politics, but about standing up for a cultural vision that resonated with his base. To create a campaign message that sticks, you need to understand the voter map. Who's likely to vote in your election, and what motivates them to show up? Is it a presidential election year with higher turnout and a more diverse electorate? Or is it an off-year election with lower, more issue-driven turnout? The types of voters who show up influence your message. MAGA voters tend to be values-driven, prioritizing cultural identity, national pride, and a sense of traditionalism. While they vote reliably Republican, they may undervote down ticket if your campaign focuses solely on local issues like taxes without addressing broader cultural concerns. In the off-year, lower turnout, non-presidential cycles, the electorate often skews more educated, older, and focus on concrete issues like infrastructure, education, and local governance. These voters are more analytical and policy-driven, requiring more nuanced, data-backed approach. Groups like Moms for Liberty, a conservative organized grassroots organization, have emerged focusing on issues like removing books as they see as inappropriate from school libraries or opposing the teaching of gender ideology and critical race theory. Candidates backed by these groups often share personal stories of concern for their children's education, connecting to a broader narrative of protecting children from harmful ideologies. So you want to understand who's actually going to show up to vote and who's driving them to vote, not just who you wish would or hope will vote. This will help you tailor a message that mobilizes supporters and wins over undecided voters. Once you've identified your key issues, ideally no more than 5, and have a deep understanding of them, it's time to craft a personal narrative that aligns with these priorities. Too often, political campaigns craft a candidate's bio in isolation, disconnected from the campaign's messaging. But the most effective campaigns tie a candidate's personal story directly to issues voters care about. So think about your own experiences. Why do you care about the issues that you're running on? What personal stories can you tell that reflect your commitment to addressing these concerns? If education is a top issue, maybe you struggle to access quality education or have worked closely with local schools. If public safety is a concern, you might share a story about how crime affected your neighborhood. A key part of shaping your message and narrative is defining yourself before your opponents have the opportunity to do so for you. If you don't tell your story, your opponent will, and it won't be flattering. For example, Swift Boat Veterans for Truth in 2004 came out during John Kerry's presidential campaign and attacked his decorated military service. It was a group of veterans, and they questioned his war record, accusing him of exaggerating his heroism. Despite his initial strong military credentials, the negative ads combined with footage of Kerry's anti-war protests of his service completely undermined his credibility. In 2012, Mitt Romney was caught telling wealthy donors that 47% of Americans were dependent on government. They saw themselves as victims and wouldn't vote for him anyway. This reinforced a perception that Romney was out of touch with working-class voters. His campaign struggled to redefine him as empathetic or relatable after that. These examples show that if you don't shape your own narrative, your opponents will exploit any weakness you define first. Your message should always end with a call to action. Every problem you identify should have a solution, and that solution should involve voting for you. Make sure voters understand that they are part of this solution. Voting is not just an act of support, it's a step towards solving the issues that they care about. Ultimately, your campaign message and personal narrative should be so intertwined that they reinforce each other well. When you speak to voters, it should feel like you're telling a story that naturally leads to your candidacy. If you do this right, voters won't just see you as a candidate. They'll see you as someone who genuinely understands them, their struggles, and their hopes. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you want every voter to remember about you when they go to the ballot box? If you can answer that clearly and consistently, your campaign message is right on track. Good luck on the campaign.